Hi guys, this is Ishay Breslauer, a commercial real estate entrepreneur, and welcome to the Young Entrepreneurs Common Mistakes series. Let's start. So today I want to talk about the learning curve, and different businesses have different types of learning curves, and that's what I want to talk about today. Like for example, to become a neurosurgeon, you can't become that by watching a few how to do stuff on YouTube. You can't do that, right? As opposed to becoming a graphic designer where you can learn it fairly quickly and do it on the go, or becoming someone who does online businesses. So that's very different. But I want to give you more of a vivid example from my world. Well, I'm a commercial real estate guy. To become an expert in commercial real estate took me at least 7 years, okay? And that is something you need to bear in mind. But knowing commercial real estate, I could learn on my own. And that's what I did, and that's why I created courses for people that they can do it in fairly short time and not to have such a long learning curve and so on and so forth, but it still takes time to become an expert. So let me give you a live example. Becoming an expert in commercial real estate really took me 7 years. But doing the online stuff that I do today, which is supporting everything around what I do, right? Like right now, it took me a few months to know what I'm doing. I'm not going to be an expert. I don't care about being an expert in that. But learning that took me a lot less than learning commercial real estate. So that is something to take into consideration. So when you choose a business, you have to understand, I love it enough to stick in and learning everything that I need to learn. That is an important aspect. That's why it's important to understand each learning curve that each business has. Hey guys, just 1 second. Hate bothering you listening to this important video. Would really appreciate if you could subscribe and hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Let's continue. The next thing is very important. You have to love what you do. You wake up in the morning, you have to wake up with this enthusiasm of, I'm going to do what I love, and it's going to take me a long time, but I love what I do, and I'm going to get it done. And if you don't love what you do, you're going to give up. So I want to show you a live example of things that you want to learn and things that you don't want to learn. Commercial real estate, I love to learn. I love to learn. I can listen to a podcast, a lecture, a seminar, or whatever. I go and listen for hours to experts who do whatever they do in my field, and I love it. I love every second. And I get, I drink it, literally. As opposed to things that I don't want to learn, but I have to, like Facebook ads and all kind of stuff. And many times the speaker could be interesting, but it doesn't matter. I want to get to the point. I want to get to what I need to do. And sometimes when they don't get to the point fast enough, it tells me I hate it, but I want to get to the point fast because I want to do it well. So that is the difference. And I hope that gives you an idea of what I love to learn, what I hate to learn. Really important. If your business, what you do in your business, your primary occupation, your primary thing, that you need to actually train yourself and know and becoming an expert. If the learning curve is painful and you hate it, don't do it. The next thing is really, really important. That is to embrace the learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to become an expert overnight. You have to understand one thing, that it takes time to become something. It takes time. And Brian Tracy says it takes 7 years to become an expert, right? It takes 7 years to become an expert. Not every business needs years. Some businesses need many years. Some businesses need only a few years, and some need only a few months. But it will not take days or just 2 weeks or 3 to become an expert and to be someone that people will want to actually pay money to do things for them in that field. So you have to understand what you do. And there's going to be doing. You have to actually incorporate the doing together with that. You can't just learn, not do. You have to learn, and then do, and then start mingling those together. Because the learning curve, a part of the learning curve is failure. You need to fail and see what you've done wrong, and then go back to the learning and say, what have I done wrong according to all these things that I'm learning? And then get better and get better and get better and get better. Learn from other people's mistakes, then do yours, and then see where you have made a mistake with and how you can get better without guessing too much, but by learning and a lot of trial and error. But you have to become an expert. And again, you have to be there for the long haul and understand that there is a learning curve. It's going to take time. So what if I want to cut it short? Cutting it short means pain. Listen to me. Cutting it short means pain. In certain fields, you can actually do it faster. As I said, certain type of businesses require less work, but certain type of businesses require a lot more working on yourself, self-development, a lot of education. Becoming an expert takes a long time, and you have to learn a lot. Cutting the learning curve short and saying, I don't want to learn anymore. I want to start do. That is great attitude, but sometimes it's the wrong thing to do. I'll give you an example. So I want to tell you a story. There was a kid basically who wanted to be mentored by me. It didn't really happen technically. My daughter was getting married at the time, but then a few years later, all of a sudden he showed up. He really disappeared for a few years, but all of a sudden he called me up and he said, listen, something happened to me. I want to know if I can get a job with you. And what happened to him was he took other people's money, which is awesome, meaning to be able to raise capital so early in the game, it shows talent. But again, he was not educated and he did not let the learning curve go according to the plan. He did not pace himself according to plan, especially in a business like real estate or commercial real estate. You can't just, get things done because you feel like it. And he went ahead and he chose an area and he started doing business there. And he started buying homes and flipping homes and all that stuff, started renovating, he took contractors and whatnot and all kind of things like that. And in the end of the day, those contractors ditched him, many of them, because he didn't know who to hire, how to hire. There's a process. He didn't know how to do it the best way he could do it, and he failed. The problem was he took other people's money. And the way to fail is usually in real estate, and this is not what I'm teaching today. You'll have to see other videos of mine. But the real thing about it is that you have to fail with your money first and not with other people's money. That is really important because no one will give you money, almost ever. And recovering from that is really hard. And someone once asked Warren Buffett, what will happen if you lose everything? Will you be able to recover everything? And Warren Buffett said, I'm pretty sure I will be able to, but there's one aspect that will hurt me a lot, and that is losing other people's money. If that will happen to me, I don't think I'll ever be able to recover. So therefore, this kid, getting back to this story, this kid went and took other people's money and really lost it. And by being a beginner, not learning enough, doing more than you can, he took in his mouth a lot more than he could chew. And it hurt him. So he tried to cut the learning curve, and it was pain. And therefore, what my recommendation is, don't cut the learning curve. You want to become an expert. You want to do whatever you have to do, and you have to love what you do, as I said, but don't cut it. The next thing is really important, and that is to become an expert, and that should be your long-term goal. I have to become an expert. What do I have to do in order to become an expert? There are a lot of stepping stones on the way, but eventually you have to become that person that people will want to go to because he knows about it, and he knows what he's doing, or she knows what she's doing, and people will go to that person because they know what they're doing, because they are experts. This is really important. You can't be just another guy who does things. You have to be an expert. Just aim to be an expert. That's really important. And the last but not least is analysis paralysis, which is the opposite of what we're talking today. Today we're talking about cutting the learning curve and actually cutting it short to do more things that you're not so good at, or you don't have enough credentials to do it, you don't have enough track record, you don't have enough know-how in order to do them, and you're jumping to do that. But right now I want to jump to the other side. There's the person who is not doing anything. It's just learning and learning and learning and learning and learning and not doing anything. And the concept is to give yourself the basics, to learn enough in order to do. And then you do, and you see what mistakes you've made, you're going back and you're reviewing what the mistakes that you've made, and then you're growing from there and learning more, doing more, learning more, doing more. Doing and learning go together. They don't go by learning, becoming a top doctor. Even a doctor, when he learns and learns and learns, eventually he has to go to the hospital and actually start performing and becoming an intern and training and actual people and doing whatever he needs to do. So eventually you'll have to do what you want to do, and that's how you learn better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next time. Take care.